account of who was here, and I will personally call those who are not here, except for those who are out of town. Eduardo Mena,
Present.
Jackie York,
Present.
Dr. Joshua Acevedo,
Present.
and Tanny Berg. So the four of us are here. We're one short of a quorum. So we won't have a meeting of any action items, but we will have presentations. So with that in mind, I'd turn it over to you, whatever presentations you want. We'll go straight along here. We can't approve the minutes. We can't have discussion of possible action on the financial report, discussion action on the investment policy we can't have. We're not going to review the financials, but we'll have EPCAD department presentations.
Great, thank you, because I've really worked hard. We're going to start, today we have our HR department and our IT and application support departments to give you a presentation about what they do. And I've asked them to come and introduce themselves and introduce their staff. Now, accounting is here also because of the audit. So let me start and let Ms. Rosa Goldman introduce herself and her department. Their presentation is going to be basically the audit, but let her do that, and then we'll go to Gabrielle Melendez for HR. And so,
Do we have any employees who have an anniversary?
no, not today.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't leave them out.
We're good.
Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, good evening, board.
Rosa.
I am Rosa Goldman, Chief Financial Officer. And given that we were going to present the audit, I wanted to introduce to you the members of the accounting department. I would like to recognize these persons that work day in and day out to make sure that our books are accurate. So I'm going to introduce Patricia Quinteros. She does payroll. Everybody loves her because it's payroll. We want to get paid. And she does also procurement. And then I have Raul Madrigal, who reviews accounts payable, works on the budget, and takes care of the fixed asset management to include annual physical inventory of fixed assets. Then I have Isabel Montañez, who reconciles the general ledger accounts, including the bank accounts, issues interim financial statements, takes care of cash management, and does billing to taxing entities along with Raul. Thank you. And then I have Jessica Montellano. She does partial accounts payable, and she's training with Isabel to learn to reconcile the GL accounts and issue interim financial statements. And she's training or will train also on contract management. And then the last person is Erica Meraz. She's the latest. She's the newest in the accounting department, and she's been doing accounts payable. And I thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thank you, Rosa.
Okay, Ms. Gabrielle, would you like to introduce yours?
Good evening. I'm Gabrielle Melendez. I'm the Chief People Officer, and I've been with the district coming on 23 years now. I have 29 years of managerial experience, and I have a dual certification. I graduated from UTEP with business. I have a dual certification in HR, PHR, and SHRM CP. I'm also the Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the El Paso chapter of the Society for Human Resource Management, and I'm also a national member of SHRM. So, along with those things, I also provide strategic leadership to the Department of People, which is better known as HR. And we handle our most valuable resource, which is people. Over the past 4 years, I've advanced the department from a department of 1 to 5. I report directly to the Executive Director, Chief Appraiser, and work closely with the executive team and senior leadership. I'd like to introduce Carlos Martinez, who's the Assistant Chief People Officer, and then we'll go and introduce the rest of our staff. Thank you.
Good evening.
So I've been with the district about 3 years, a little over 3 years, and I come from a retirement planning financial background. You all are familiar with what HR does because of the entities that you represent. So I don't want to go into too much detail about the basics of what we do because you all are pretty familiar with it. What I'd like to do is talk a little bit about what we handle, talk about what we've done to improve our processes and the way that we do things around here, kind of tell you where our vision is for our HR department and this building over the next couple years, and then leave you with a couple of things I think you should know about the people that work here. So we handle a lot. All the benefit management, which includes insurances, health, dental, vision, life insurance, COBRA, disability insurance. All that is not just the maintenance of it, but it's verifying that bills are correct, changes, additions, cancellations, corrections, and then, of course, getting general information to our employees about everything that has to do with their plans, how they work. We have a lot of retirees that take up a little bit of our time as well. We have about 50 retirees that we still service as well. Not as much time with them, but they still have a lot of questions that we end up answering as well. So in addition to the 150 employees that we have here, we've got sort of 50 extras that we kind of manage on an ad hoc basis as well. We oversee the hiring process from start to finish, and we've revamped that quite a bit to be a little bit more efficient, which we'll talk about in just a second. But once the individual is hired, we're responsible for onboarding, the entire onboarding process, and our philosophy is to have kind of a white glove treatment of this employee from the very first phone call that they get all the way through day one when they start here, and it doesn't even end there. We check in on them regularly throughout their first couple of months here to make sure that they're feeling comfortable with the culture here, the dynamic here, and to ensure that they've found a new home for themselves. On the flip side, we handle all the out processing for individuals as well, those that leave voluntarily, involuntarily, the ones who leave through something joyous like a retirement. And likewise, we know that just because they're no longer here, word of mouth is still something that's very powerful. So we like to provide white glove treatment to them on their way out the door as well. The more positive things and news that is spread about this place, the easier it will be to attract candidates in the future. There's a lot more that we handle, FMLA and workers' comp and all the minutiae, but what we've done, and by we, I mean the team here, I work very closely with Cristina Frausto, who is our HR generalist. She's been with us about 1.5 years, and she really is kind of my right hand on helping out with all the detail work. She's very detail-oriented, very good at what she does, so I appreciate having someone like her on board. We've modernized processes. Our goal is to reduce paper. Our goal is to reduce waste, time, things that can flow faster, should flow faster, and we should be taking advantage of technology. So that's our goal. We've modified our hiring process to go completely electronic. We used to take paper forms, paper resumes from people who would just come off the street. We weren't even hiring at the time. And that led to a lot of file cabinets and folders and retention that just wasn't necessary. So now we've gone completely paperless with that. A part of it is also to expand the number of candidates that we attract. We work with our HRIS system, Human Resources Information System, that links with things like Indeed and Glassdoor and ZipRecruiter to garner as many candidates out there, qualified candidates, as possible. We've created cheat sheets for our employees on things like basic benefits. Benefits are a whole other world when it comes to navigating insurance. And so we're trying to make it as simple for our employees as possible, even for the out processing part, like retirement. There's checklists for what you should be doing 6 months, 3 months, 3 weeks out, that sort of process. We're improving our employee handbook. We're going through a complete revamp right now. That's taking a lot of time, but it's going to be a very positive effect in the end. We have adopted new software to do employee training for things like sexual harassment training, cybersecurity training, things that are big issues, can be really big issues, and we're trying to get that training to our employees in a much more manageable way. We are putting a bigger emphasis on mental health awareness because it's huge. We're trying to provide resources, training, creating discussion groups, creating safe space for people to be able to just talk and seek out the help that they may need. You never know who is suffering silently next to you. So we feel this is extremely important. We're using our employee assistance program to provide things like in-house trainings, things on emotional intelligence, team building, And we try to do these things on the cheap because we know money doesn't fall from the trees around here. Which leads me nicely into kind of where we're going. Our hope is that we can develop our employees more, we can develop our managers more through trainings, through reskilling, through upskilling, through identifying skills gaps. And it's a big thing for us. I'm a stats person, and I read all sorts of random articles, and I just read an article in Forbes magazine that was written by a sociologist who talked about stress and the impact of stress in the workplace and the impact that managers have on the employees that work for them. What was the big takeaway is that 69% of the people noted that their manager has a bigger impact on their mental health than even their family practitioner does. Sometimes more than a family member does, because we spend a lot of time together here. Stress is huge. 43% said they're exhausted. 78% in her study said that stress negatively impacts their work, that it detracts from their relationships, that it impacts their overall well-being. On the flip side, positive mental health has a lot of rewards. 63% in her study said they're more committed to their work when they feel good. 80% say they're more energized, and that's our goal. A happy employee is an engaged employee, is going to be a productive employee that sticks around for quite some time. I mentioned that we're trying to automate processes. We are setting up documents for electronic submission so that there's no mistakes on handwriting and trying to read a 3 from an 8 from a 0. We're trying to improve retention as we go through the hiring process because things change, right? With COVID, it taught us a lot about what people value as far as their benefits package, and we are hoping to continue to enhance our benefits package. It's our biggest recruitment tool in attracting qualified. We can attract all sorts of candidates, but to attract qualified candidates that are going to truly be an asset here and that are going to stay is really hard. Employee experience is kind of our ultimate goal, and you're going to hear about what we're doing with employee experience through Robert, who is our employee engagement manager. But we're trying to create a more employee-centric culture. We want to strengthen employee engagement and really have an impact on the positive well-being of our employees. So what I want to leave you with is we've got a lot of people here that I think the board doesn't get to see them personally. You know about the work that they do because you get these positive reviews on maps and property value study and all that stuff. But what you don't know about them is we have 77 employees here who have more than 10 years of service. 77 employees out of 146 right now. So it's right around 50%, which is pretty incredible for more than 10 years of service in one spot. 58 employees have more than 15 years of service. 37 have more than 20. 17 have more than 25. We have 7 employees with more than 30 years of service. 2 of them are sitting right there. What that also means with longevity and just a sign of the times that we're in is that there's going to be some change in the future. We're looking at preparing for that change. We have 33 employees that are eligible to retire right now, 33 employees that could walk out the door. That's important to know, and it's important to prepare for. We have 20 employees that are going to be eligible in the next 5 years to retire. So we're looking at 53 people that in the next 5 years potentially could walk out the door if they wanted to, and we've got to be ready for that. And so that's why enhancing all these things is really, really important to us. I will say that our hiring practices that we've changed and enhanced to try to be a little bit more progressive, I feel have had a really positive impact. Over the last 2 years, we've hired 50 people. 40 of them are still with us. And out of the 10 that departed, 2 were because they moved out of the city, so not our fault. 2 left because it's a competitive market. They needed a higher paying job. The others were, they found not a good fit for us, or we found not a good fit for them. But 80% retention rate over the last 2 years is pretty solid. I'd like it to be higher. That's where you guys come in. We appreciate your support. We know that we do as much as we can. We hope that the board sees the value in the work that our people do. Our biggest recruitment retention tools are benefits, and that's where you guys have been extremely supportive, and so we thank you for that, and we hope that that will always continue. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to our employee engagement manager.
Good evening. My name is Robert Garcia. I am the People Engagement Manager for the district. I myself have been working here for 17 years. I'm going to go on my 17th year. I started here when I was 19 years old. So I've been around for some time. I am now working closely with Gabby. I'm pretty much her assistant. I work closely with her and the executive director. This will be my 4th year in human resources. And so my goal is like Carlos said, is to have that engagement with the staff, for people to feel like they belong here. Like I said, I work closely with the chief executive and the people officer on generating those programs. I oversee the reception desk area myself, and some examples of those projects that I've generated is community engagement with the El Pasoans fighting hunger. We did volunteer days, November and December. We also do food drives. And while the busy season comes around, I try to develop initiatives so that we can keep the employees happy, because it is a very stressful job during the months of the summer. Protest season comes around, and they see over 100 people a day. And so I want to make
person.
sure
We'll have up to 800 people come into this building per day. Sorry, Robert.
fine. I want to make sure that they feel that they're okay, their mental health is well. We provide those resources for them. I was there in that position once. I was an appraiser for 7 years. So I know that when they're dealing with the public, it could get a little hard. As Carlos mentioned, mental health is huge for us, and we want to make sure that our staff is well taken care of. And of course, with the support of the board, we want to continue with that. Okay, with that, I'll pass it over to you.
Just the last person that I want to introduce is Lupe Borjon. Guadalupe Borjon is our receptionist. So you'll. Thank you.
We recently, with the help of Robert, had our blood drive. We do a blood drive twice a year. We bring them in our slower time in the spring and then in the fall. We had 17 donations, which is pretty good, for us. And thanks to Robert and Christina, because of the Super Bowl, we actually had a wear whatever jersey you wanted to on Wednesday, and had potluck and did department tailgating.
Nice.
To kind of let the employees, before we get into the busy season. And so I think that went over really well. And I told Robert I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. He instigated for the first time ever a chili cook-off. And we had 14 people that brought chili, and we had a tasting.
And who was the judges?
That's what I was just gonna say, and we weren't
Never
invited.
invited
Well,
us
you know
to
what?
your-
Next time we'll
your
invite you, and you'll be
tailgating.
the judges.
Yeah,
Wait, is there chili in here? I didn't see any chili in
I
there.
was just gonna
Penny?
say.
As chair, can you make sure we get invited?
They get invited.
It was your chair. At the time. You were chair at the time, not me.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Robert, did you hear? We invite the board next time.
We would love that.
I love chili.
I enjoy those
Yeah.
those little events,
Absolutely.
tailgating. I didn't know we had 140 employees here.
150.
146 employees. I didn't know that.
So let me add two things. First of all, I was lucky enough to be able to judge the Halloween contest, and I got to visit pretty much everybody here. And I have to tell you that the esprit de corps, the way, and it's thanks to you, HR, it's you people, okay? But at the end of the day, the people who work here truly feel a part of the family. And they
you know what?
work
And I
here,
feel
and this
it.
is a hard job.
I feel the vibe.
I
And
mean,
I know, I can tell.
we're setting values, and then people are protesting. I mean, it's not easy. And at the end of the day, I got to tell you, from the public side of you, we appreciate what you do every single day, and we thank you for that. So I was lucky enough to be able to judge that. And then, I started the food bank here, and I got to tell you, I mentioned it, and the next thing you know, we had a whole team go out there to El Paso's Fighting Hunger. And
I saw the
at a
pictures.
time where we had no volunteers,
pictures, yeah.
where we desperately needed volunteers at the food bank, the Central Appraisal District stepped up. And we had a whole crew come out there and actually pack boxes so that we could deliver the boxes to people in need who needed it. So the thanks
was out
don't
there.
only come out from me, the thanks come out from this whole community to you guys. And just know that you are appreciated, and we appreciate
Yes, you are.
and understand how hard you work, and we want you to know how much you're loved, and
Yes.
we're with you. We're one. We're one and the same.
Yay.
You have our support. All of it.
Well, we're going to jump to IT and application support, and they have a real nice PowerPoint presentation. Dr. Acevedo, you were wondering here a couple of meetings ago about, what we do technology-wise in IT. So we had them put together a presentation, and they have some of their staff here that they'll recognize. Rosa, I'm guessing we won't get to the audit, so,
We can't.
yeah. You want to stick around? Oh, sure, great. We're glad to have you. Yeah.
You can come to every one of our meetings. How about
yeah.
that?
Okay, not a problem.
Good evening, Board. Octavia Sweeney, Application Support Manager.
All right.
Alongside me is Rodolfo Arvizo, IT Manager. We also have Tony Sang, Application Support Assistant Manager. And we have David Martinez,
We know who he is.
IT, I'm sure you do, IT Assistant Manager. So we also have a couple of our staff here. Could you all stand up, please? Okay. These are the people that make everything happen. Mhm. I want to point out that both departments have a lot of people with a lot of dedicated experience to the CAD. As you can see, we have 37 years, 23 years, 15 years, 8 years. Okay. Application support technical staff must maintain an RPA designation in order to understand mass appraisal concepts, touch values, and to provide support to CAD staff in many different areas. Whenever possible, and we need to fill any vacancies, an attempt is made to do it from within the appraisal district staff because of the importance of understanding appraisal. This is very hard to find in the market. So we are two departments working together to achieve the same goal. Application support is a service that ensures that a business's digital operational procedures run smoothly. One of the most important things in any business is data integrity. Application support is responsible for the data integrity of the appraisal software and the integrity of the data provided to the public and to local and state government. Application support staff must have very technical and analytical skills in many different areas, including programming languages, in order to be able to support appraisal district staff. Okay? I'm going to pass it over to Rodolfo.
Thank you, Octavius. Good evening, Rodolfo Arvizo, IT Manager. So on the IT department, what we do is we basically are in charge of everything that has to be with technology, from data center, networking, endpoints, computers, software printers, phone system. We also have a team of developers, and we develop applications in-house to aid with the various activities of the appraisal process. So we want to talk about a little bit of the journey that the El Paso Appraisal District have gone through the years. And we wanted to show a little bit of the projects we have been able to aid or add value to the end customers, to the end users, how we've been able to empower our staff to provide better service to the public with the use of technology. Also, how we've had to adapt in a rapid evolving place, and how we've been able to modernize and digitize some of the appraisal services. And not only that, but also how we've adapt ourselves or our culture to be able to get into this journey of digital transformation. So as Octavius mentioned, we don't only focus on technology, but also on the appraisal side. So we have to find ways to close that gap using technology to be able to run the appraisal processes in a more effective way. So before we go further, what is digital transformation? So digital transformation is basically how we integrate the technology into all areas of our business. When we do that, that's going to fundamentally change how we do things. And that's also going to affect how we provide value to our customers. We like IBM's concepts of fail fast and learn fast, right? Meaning there is going to be things that are going to work out very well, but there are going to be things that are probably not. But the important thing here is to learn from those experiences. And as Octavius mentioned, this is a journey that is always, we always have to learn and apply what we learn. So talking a little bit about our digital transformation here in the district, we could go back since 2015 by being one of the first local government organizations to adopt a digital transformation strategy in the city. Why do we say that? Because we were pioneers in creating a cloud-based appraisal application in a virtualized environment. We were one of the first in El Paso to have a hybrid, meaning in-house and cloud network environment for redundancy and more flexibility. We've been able also to integrate different APIs to different areas of our operations. And again, we're always looking for areas to improve via feedback, via communication, collaboration with different departments internally. So that's how our digital transformation started. So one of the projects we have provided value to the public, basically property owners, is a property service page. So what we did, even though we have services available on our website, they were on different places. It was a little bit cumbersome for property owners to find how to file a protest, how to upload evidence, things like that. So what we did is we put everything on a single pane of glass so that they can do all of various services. So one of the things they can do on this side is submit a protest. We made it super easy by the aid of a form. We call it an online protest form. And we're going to see it in a little bit more deeper. But, and it's super easy in the sense that when they click on the form, the information is pre-filled, meaning their name, their address, their property ID is going to be there, meaning less prone to error. They can also submit evidence via this portal. They can look GIS information. They can submit, the next thing coming is the exemption. They're going to be able to submit an exemption online, specifically talking about the homestead exemption, and it's going to be available for them if it's available for them. We have a very simplified way for people to be able to protest. And we have videos and documentation on how to do it. We're always going to recommend to do the online protest form because, as I mentioned, that's pre-filled, meaning for the end user is less prone to error. And for us, we're going to have the information on a more rapid way. Okay, the online protest form that I was talking about. So again, it's available on the property search page, and they have different ways to submit a protest, to use this form. One is we are going to mail on the property on the notice of appraised value. Sorry about that. It's gonna come with a QR code, something similar to what you see here. In that way, they're gonna be able to scan with their phone the QR code, and it's gonna take them directly to the pre-filled form for their property. So they can use a mobile device, a tablet, or even go to our website, and it's gonna be super simple for them. They're just gonna check the reason they're protesting, how they're gonna get, how they want the protest, and the communication they wanna get from. We also have this QR code on kiosks here on our facilities. So if they're here and they want to submit a protest right here and there, they can do it right now, right there. And again, this is making our scheduling process a lot more efficient. So we're always recommending this way of protesting. So after they have submitted a protest, they're going to be able to send us their evidence. If they have photos in their devices, in their phone or tablet, they can use a QR code or go to our property search, click on a button. It's going to take them to a pre-filled form where they can upload information. Basically, this is awesome because they no longer have to come here with a USB with all their documents, with all their photos. Sometimes they will have the evidence here, but on their phone, they didn't have a way to upload it automatically. This way is gonna be almost simultaneous where they're gonna be able to upload their photos, or they're able already to upload their photos or evidence on their phone, and we're gonna have it almost instantaneously. If they don't have a good reception here on their phone, we have Wi-Fi available. It's public. We don't charge or anything for that, so that they don't have limitations in terms of uploading their evidence. Davies?
Okay, now we're going to look at some really fun stuff. So in 2022, we had 44,662 protests filed. The majority of these were filed through the traditional method of physically dropping off, sending by email, or by fax. All that needs to be inputted in manually by appraisal district staff into the system. In 2021 and 2022, beginning of 2022, IT and application support got together and said, what can we do to not only provide the public a much more convenient way of filing their protests, but also to support staff here. So we developed the digital form, which is not required by law, in order to achieve this. This was a collaboration between the departments. First time use, 28%. That is a pretty large number for the first time. Another way that people can also protest is there's an online portal, which is required by law. Now, that is provided by our software provider. 8%. However, appraisal district staff provide all the support. All calls that come in are provided by appraisal district staff. ARB digital support for the public. In addition to the digital protest form, there were 3 major processes that needed to be in place because the state law required them for 2022. This was not provided by the software company. We had to get together and find a way how we needed to accomplish this. So we got together and said, hey, okay, how are we going to accomplish this? Well, we were able to find a way to send property owners their appointment letter by email. We were able to find a way to send anybody who had a scheduled hearing an email or a text message reminder 2 days prior to the ARB scheduled hearing. And as you all seen, that is very common nowadays. So we also were able to find a way to send the final ARB letter of determination by email. Now, I want to point out, this did not replace anything. It was additional to whatever was already being done. And we had large numbers of people who wanted this done. We're talking about 9,000 people, 19. This is all work that is not automatic, it's not a push button thing. Staff still needs to be able to create some of this using the software system. But where IT and application support came in is being able to take that and automate the part. Can you imagine somebody sitting here and having to send 8,000 emails and attach? It's just cumbersome. Probably no way you can do that. You know, it would take a large amount of effort to do something like that. Another thing that the appraisal district has provided for the public is we have for many years had in place, and it is not required by law, and I can tell you that we were one of the very first districts in Texas to do something like this. Because years ago, when I went down there to talk to some of these districts, they were trying to figure out how to do it. Well, we went on and we got it done. This allows for any agents representing property owners during the protest season to be able to view any evidence, any open records, files online. Before it was a manual process of putting all these together and sending them. Some of these agents have thousands of accounts. They represent thousands of accounts. Last year, we uploaded over 86,000 pieces of information to the portal. Again, this is not, there's some work to be done behind this in order to pull this information. And we had to find a way, again, to automate the process. It's not fully automated, semi-automated, but we're working on finding ways to automate these processes. For years, we've also had an open records request for the rest of the public. So a lot of the property owners may have one account, may have two accounts. So they may not need to go to a portal to view anything. But there's a process in place where they can request the data online through our website, send us an email, call it by phone. They will be accommodated. And they do not have to come down here to pick up that evidence. Many years ago, yes, it was a process that we used to call them, they needed to come down here. Well, now we email it to them with the link, and they are able to download those files to their computer from the convenience of their home. So we have been getting together and coming up with these ways of trying to find more convenient ways for the public, and at the same time, trying to find ways to support CAD staff here in order to make the processes work more efficiently. Another thing that the appraisal district has is open records for the public on our website, where the most requested data is available. There is no charge. And this can include a lot of different reports, utility reports, state reports, maps, appraisal information. Okay. Now, all of these processes that I'm talking about are continuously evolving. They need to be supported in order to maintain the accuracy of the data and for optimal efficiency. Technology changes all the time. New things come in. All of a sudden we find out something isn't working the way it was working last year. So we have to be able to support this. The public information that the appraisal district has out on its site goes from for many levels of technical experience. We have data sets that can be downloaded going back 5 years. We have, so every year, what was certified, we put those files out there. We continuously update them. We're updating them at the minimum every, I would say maximum, every 2 weeks, because every 2 weeks we update this with whatever changes have been done. So there's a lot of entities out there, businesses, whatever, who rely on that data in order for them to do their business. So we try to keep up with that. We provide listings. We provide other files that explain how everything is set up. We also have out there shape files, GIS mapping files. And we provide data tools for more advanced technical people, like programmers. They can actually take these data tools and use them to be able to create their own programs or whatever they need in order to pull the data that they need to see. So there's a lot of stuff that, this is only part of what the two departments do. One of the things that application support, this is the timeline for application support. And again, data integrity, above everything else. If you do not have data, you have nothing. Beginning of January through March, mailings are being done, renditions, preparing for the protest season. Okay. I'm only talking about the major processes that are going on at this time. April through June, appraisal notice processing, protest processing, open records processing. Open records processing is where people are asking for information, is a year-long thing, very heavy during the protest season because people want to look at some data, agents want to look at data, so there's a lot of that going on. July through September, certification, state comptroller reporting, tax assessor's bill file. The data, the integrity of the data must be there in order for the tax assessor to be able to do their job. October through December, and we try to relax a little, but there's very little relaxing going on. We're reviewing what's happened this prior season. What did we see? What kind of challenges came up? How are we going to handle them for the next year? We then start strategizing, and we start creating, modifying processes so we are better prepared for the protest for the upcoming season, the upcoming year. Again, our goal is to provide better service for the public and to provide support for appraisal district staff. So we're providing technical and data support and training for staff and public year-long, continuously looking to improve upon these processes.
Thank you again. So one of the ways we've been able to empower our users, our staff, is through mobile assessor application. Basically, what this is a tablet, an iPad, where they can upload the work they're gonna be working that particular day, take it to the field, and start updating information. They can take photos there. They can do sketches. They can do basically different notations there. And as they're doing it, the information is going to a cloud server. And then once they're back to the office, that information is downloaded to a quality control module where a lead appraiser or a manager can check proof all the work, and then that information gets into our CAMA system or appraisal system. So that's one way we've able to empower our users. And again, we're always providing support to the tablets. As Octavius was showing on the cycle, right, on the year cycle, we have to be able to be agile as an organization on this digital transformation. We've been able to, we need to evolve as law changes comes, as new technology arrives. We've been able to set ourselves not so comfortable with what we do and how we do it, but start doing different tests, different changes, and always embracing change. And one of the things we do a lot is collaborate with the departments. Okay, what are the things that are probably taking you longer? What are the things that we could potentially help you with? And to mention some of our major accomplishments during this transformation is the appraisal district is we're the first appraisal district to operate a hybrid data center infrastructure, including a cloud-based email and instant communication services in El Paso. And I believe Microsoft has an article about us actually somewhere. We're the first to implement video hearings prior to the pandemic, and this was before it was required by law. Also, the first appraisal district to create and implement an evidence portal for tax agents, and the first to implement an ARB hearing panel management system. We call it ARB Hub, to help the public. What this is basically a resource management for during the hearing season, and is improving communication and even improving the security for the staff. We're so proud about this project that we are submitting a Distinguished Assessment Jurisdiction IW award this year. So we're hoping we get nominated this year.
Please keep your fingers crossed.
So what is the ARB Hub application? Is basically a status monitor. On the right side, you're going to be able to see a live feed of the panels and some of the waiting areas. And then on the left side, you're basically going to see statuses of the panels. If a panel is being occupied, or if it's a bilingual, or the appraiser needs support from IT or from the police. We have an in-house police officer. It's not gonna be calling the police from 911, right? So it's calling the police or sending a text to the police if need be, the officer that we have in turn. And also they're able to see what of the ARV members are assigned to a particular panel. So before this, we have to consider that hearing sessions are for 15 minutes. So if the appraisal during the presentation had an issue with IT, the microphone will not function, or something was not opening, it will take 3 to 4, 5 minutes to find someone from IT and come and help. In this way, they can do it in a more efficient way. And the way we're doing it is the appraisal, the appraiser on their workstation, they have a keypad. Basically, with this keypad, we can program different functions to request support, for instance, for IT, request support for the officer, or the ARV chairman, or the lead appraiser, so they don't have to step out, start looking for people. They can do it right there and there. These have made the ARV sessions a lot more efficient, and they're even are able to open different programs. And this keypad communicates with a board, which is available to different people. There's different people with access. Pretty much anyone could have access to this board. So this is what we're submitting this year. Hopefully, we get nominated.
What we found, and I don't mean to interrupt, is the chairman of the ARB has a TV in their office that has that screen, and if they see that there's no taxpayer in there, but there's panel members, ARB members, they can go out and see. We have all these files. Why don't they have somebody in that panel room? Instead of having to go in and look at each panel room and walk, they've got it right there, so they can tell. So that has sped up the amount of time people are having to wait, because the chairman is the one who's responsible for making sure it's running. So we found that the ARB chair and the officers really like that, because they could see it immediately that there's an empty panel, we need to get a taxpayer in there.
sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Like we talk about trial and error. So some of the things we've tried and we find out is probably not a time to use it. Not saying we're not going to be able to use it in the future, but it's chatbot services. We saw low usage. The few people that you actually use it, they actually end up with wanting to talk with a real person. Most of the times they didn't actually know what to do or what to ask. So we decided to set it aside for now. Online appointment scheduling. We did this on the pandemic time. So what we wanted to do is for property owners to be able to schedule meetings with phone meetings with appraisers. What ended up happening is they were scheduling their meeting via phone and they were not answering the calls. They were not scheduling to the correct department. There was a lot of confusion, and that allow a lot of impatient people. So we put that aside. Social media. We research on this, and we find out that is at the moment it's not suitable for us because we found that for some of organizations that do have it, there is no real feedback, and most of the times it's just complaints. And we'll have to have someone like pretty much 100% of the time dedicated to maintain this different social media apps. What we do have here that I really appreciate is we have a call center. We don't have a phone menu. We don't have a go to voicemail and then we'll call you back. We have a phone back, basically a call center, where if a person calls the appraisal district, a real person is going to answer the phone. And most of the time, they are trained. They have the knowledge enough to answer most of the questions. If they need to transfer a call, they make sure there is someone else on the other side of the call, so we don't drop the call. So we've found that method to be more efficient than this other ways of doing. So with digital transformation, one of the things we've seen is reduced cost. And we've been able to do it by developing in-house applications by our developers, and also by modernizing our infrastructure. The way we've been doing to do that is by leasing agreements. What that allows us to do, and probably you will see a lot on our budget, what that allows us to do is set a cost for 3, 4, 5 different years, set a cost for it, lock the cost. Also, we'll have maintenance and support throughout the life of the lease without additional payments. We also can plan ahead. When a lease is coming due, we can plan ahead and upgrade the technology, whatever it is. And overall, we've seen better return of investment. So we're doing this with our data center, security, networking, workstations, pretty much everything, well, most of what we do. And so that has helped us keep our infrastructure modern. Last but not least, supportive leadership. Application support and IT play an important role on the digital transformation strategy. But in reality, this journey is for everyone, involves everyone, including leadership. We are grateful that Dinah and David are on board with us. We're thankful that they allow us to trial and error in different areas. But not only them, also the board. And you allow us to do all these things. And we appreciate the support that you and the trust that you provide to us. So on the beginning, it says professionals putting people first. And we have it on our badge. So that's something we always have in mind.
Yes, thank you very much.
That concludes. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
I want to say we can be very proud of our people. Both Rodolfo and Tony actually gave a I think it was you, Tony, right? Gave a presentation at the last TAD conference.
Oh, it was Chris.
Oh, it was Chris.
Chris, yeah.
Thank you, Chris. We were ahead of, we can't ask any questions because we're not at a quorum, but you can in our March meeting, in our next meeting,
Yes.
you'll be
If
able
you
to.
write them down to remember them, we'll address them in March.
But I do want to say that of all the appraisal districts, ours stood out because we were at the cutting edge technologically of how to address the needs of the public, and we thank you all for doing what you
Well,
did.
and if I may, the presentation that Rodolfo and Chris gave at the IWO conference, they have set up through this year webinars, and our presentation is one of their webinars that they set up for everybody to see throughout the world. So that was quite a coup for our IT department. So
They deserve another one.
Very impressive.
So unfortunately, but there is at least, I did not want to not have them, they work so hard.
Yes.
Our three departments, I wanted them, accounting, HR, and IT and AS, to at least talk to four of you. At the March meeting, we'll have our appraisal departments, our commercial, residential, business, personal property, and our compliance, our statistics department. But at that time, any questions from anybody that you had, if you write them down.
They'll be back, so if you have
Yeah, if you
questions,
write
they'll
them
be back.
down, well, we'll have them so that they can address your questions. But thank you for letting them go ahead. They were all excited about wanting to visit with you. And we wanted you to see faces, see that we're such a family here. And I wanted y'all to see all the support that you guys have from all the employees here. So thank you. And there's no adjournment because we don't have a
We
meeting.
can't adjourn.
So-
You do have a copy of the budget that you guys got. It is not yet approved by this board.
Do we take it or leave it here for the next meeting?
This isn't the budget.
I
This
think-
is the audit.
I mean, the audit.
You can,
Do you want us to leave it
why
for
don't
the
you
next
leave
one?
them?
I don't think we should
Because-
take them.
Yes,
That's what I was thinking.
we'll pass them back out again at March.
You already received it via email anyway.
Right.
Yes, y'all
I'll
have
leave it in
received
our
this.
book.
It's in your emails. So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank your staff for being here, Rosa, especially your staff as well.
Investment policy, take or leave till next meeting?
No, you can
Take it.
because we
You've
already
actually
have-
gotten it in your email,
No,
but you
so
can
should I leave it till next one? 'Cause
be all right.
we'll go over it?
You'll get it
Whatever you
again
wanna
next
do.
time. But I do want to close the meeting, even though it's not a meeting, close our
You're gonna
session.
leave it?
Yeah, I'm just,
And so that gives you an opportunity. All right? Thank you all. Come here, bro.
I'll be there.
The time is exactly 6:21.